right, so I wasn't planning on doing a video. Does anybody ever plan on doing a video? Maybe if you have like a podcast or something, but I've had coffee, so I gotta make sure that I don't ramble, right? But I want to talk about boundaries, codependency, and change, right? Which are three topics that can be very difficult to navigate um, when they're all happening at the same time, or when your life is requiring that you set boundaries, that you let go of codependency, and that you accept the changes that are happening so that way you can get what it is that you're after, or achieve the goals that you have and be successful and maintain that success. I'm talking from a place of being in the storm, right? And what's crazy about me saying that is that I feel like I'm always talking from a place of being in the storm. And when you have those type of revelations, sometimes you have to stop and ask yourself, what am I doing? Right? Because at the end of the day, this is my life. So if I always feel like I'm in the storm, what am I doing? Why do I feel like I'm always talking in this position? And it's not that I always feel like I'm in the storm. I may have just said that, but let me bring some more clarity, right? I have moments in my life where I feel like I've overcome things and I'm faithful and I know God is helping me and rearranging things in my life and in my circumstances for my good. I feel like I am making progress and I do make progress and I am getting closer to the things that I want to achieve. But sometimes, I stop and I'm like, was that just a good moment? Am I still in the storm, right? Am I just having good moments in the storm? Or am I actually getting over one storm and just falling and collapsing into another one? At this point in my life, if I'm honest, I don't know the answer to that at this point. But I do know that today I finally realized, after sitting down and organizing my thoughts and my feelings and things that I should be doing and things that I could do better, I finally realized, whether you're in the storm or not, whether you keep falling in a storm or not, that's not the point. The point is, what are you going to do going forward to eliminate a lot of the things that you may be contributing to, or what are you going to do to alleviate circumstances that you may be subconsciously contributing to because you just don't know better right now? And that's where the topic, or the topics of boundaries, codependency, and change came up, because I think as I get older, one thing that I'm having a hard time with understanding is adulthood development. Being able to have some type of reference or some type of example to assure me that I am developing well in my adulthood. Because if I'm honest, I don't think that there are very many examples that solidify that. More than anything, the examples that I have solidify what I don't want. I look at certain things and I look at certain people and I look at certain circumstances and I say, I can look at where you are in life and I can tell that you have not fully developed in your adulthood. And of course, you're going to have people who are going to challenge that because their point of view of adulthood is just as limited as mine. Well, I get up and I go to work and I pay my bills on time. I got food in the kitchen. I got clothes on my back. My lights is on. My water is running. There's a roof over my head. I can get from point A to point B. I'm, independent as far as taking care of my own hygiene. If people have kids, my kids are taken care of. Did I say I got a job? I don't know if I said that or not, but we're going to add it in there. If I said it twice, I'm sorry, but I got a job. I'm taking care of the basics, right? But when you look at that situation and you identify it as, okay, these are people who are just in the grind, in the hustle. Outside of the grind and the hustle, there's no network. There's no support. There's no true support. There's no extracurricular activities. There's no hobbies. There's no, solidified friendships. There's no new goals coming in. There's no new careers coming in. It's the same stagnation. It's the same hustle and bustle. It's the same grind. And it's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. And I'm not going to be the spokesperson to sit and say, well, because they want that, then they have not developed well in adulthood. I can't really make that uh, um, I can't really put a stake in that claim to say that that is true. But what I can do is accept the fact that every adult in this world has the right to decide what type of life they want to live it. And if it ain't hurting them or bothering nobody else, despite how it looks to anybody else, that's their business and it's nobody else's business. But the pickle, the kerfuffle, the internal kerfuffle that I'm having is that I want more than that. And I do feel like I'm on the path of going towards my goals and dreams, but it is extremely hard because given the circumstances that I was born into, the life that I want was never an outcome for me. It was never a predicted outcome for me. When you become the person who is not the statistic, not only do you not have valid examples to help you checkpoint your life to see if you're developing into the type of adulthood that you have planned for yourself, you don't have any checkpoint to let you know if your development is successful. You also don't have any data beyond what the system predicted for you to determine whether or not you're on the right path. And so you really have to start investing in an understanding and an education of healthy autonomy. And sometimes when you transition into autonomy and to more autonomous living, it's challenging because, like I just said, okay, I'm as independent as I know how to be. But what about this part of independence? What about this part of autonomy that requires me to move myself away from the codependency of a family structure, of a friendship circle, of a social circle that's not serving me anymore? What about the challenges or the growth and autonomy that is going to require that I set boundaries that protect my views and opinions that are different than the family structure and the family traditions and in the friend circles, etc., etc.? What about the other parts and the more advanced and elevated levels of autonomy that require me to make changes, that require me to accept that I have changed? And because I have changed, things are going to change, but maybe I'm just not comfortable with making those changes just yet. It really requires time, effort, support, and doing the work. And I know we hear that said so often, but it will not get better. I will always feel like I'm talking as if I'm in the eye of the storm or if I'm in the middle of a storm. If at the end of the day, I don't do the work that's necessary, set the rules, apply the rules, and live by the rules. Now, do the rules change? Yes, they do. Will the rules always serve a purpose for the next level? Sometimes no. But for the most part, I think that I have become better at temperature checking my own self and saying, am I at peace? Or do I feel like everything around me is chaotic? And that has been something that has helped me to be able to create boundaries around my mental health and my emotional wellness, because my compass, my measurement, my temperature, my thermometer of peace is a strong indicator that things may not be exactly how they need to be in accordance to where I'm trying to go. Because the truth of the matter is, at some point, these same things did not bother me. At some point, these same things I did not define the same things that's going on right now in my life as chaotic, but now I do. And I recognize it that I now label those things as chaotic because there's something in me that is saying there is more, there is greater, there are better opportunities, there are better jobs. You can achieve your goals. You can do all of the things that are within you that you want to do and you see yourself doing, but it's not going to be accomplished if you keep at the rate, at the pace, and at the level of living and the development of adulthood that you're at. And so sometimes our setting boundaries is letting people know, like, no, what you want to tell me and what you want to do for me, I don't need it and I don't want to hear it. Sometimes our codependency is saying, now certain things that I used to share with you willingly are now a personal matter in my life. I can't tell you anymore about my finances. I can't ask you about your finances. I can't borrow any more money from you. You can't borrow any more money from me. I can't tell you about my personal situations, what's going on at my job or what's going on at my school or what's going on with me and my therapist. And honestly, out of respect for my decision to release this codependency, I ask that you don't do the same. Sometimes change is looking around the environment and saying, you know what, I'm the only one that thinks differently. I'm the only one that sees this differently. I'm the only one who cares about something else. Maybe I've changed. And if I've changed, what do I need to start doing to allow myself to take action and to maintain this new place that I'm going into? Because just because you see different and just because you see a different life for yourself, that don't mean everybody else will. And that does not mean that one party is wrong and one party is right. That's not what it means at all. It just means that one party has their set of values and beliefs, and as long as they're living by them, then and ain't hurt nobody, they are well within their rights to do that. And the other party has certain values and beliefs, and as long as they are living within those values and beliefs and they're not hurting nobody, they are well within their rights to do that. But sometimes that does bring up topics, conversations, situations, and circumstances that make everybody uncomfortable. You and the other party and yourself. But if you know how to work through it in a healthy way, then everybody got the right to feel however they want to feel. Some people ain't gonna understand where you coming from. You're not gonna understand where some people are coming from. But one thing that I have realized about time is this: time will always tell. Time is the biggest snitch. Time is a tattletale. In due time, whoever or whatever had a healthier way of doing things, a better way of doing things, time will reveal the fruit of the decisions, of the situations, of the circumstances, and sometimes of the indifferences between you and the places that you have been able to attach yourself to for some time, that you have been able to attach yourself to for a long time. But if change is necessary, and you know for a fact that the changes that you want to make have better outcomes than the traditions and the systems and structures that you have been a part of, then you got to be steadfast in what you believe. And you got to step into the lane and you got to step into the direction that you see for your life, that you see for your adulthood, that you see and will support and bring evidence to your values and beliefs. And you have to be okay with knowing that it's gonna look different and it's gonna be different and it's gonna feel different and it's gonna be uncomfortable sometimes. And it may make it a little bit harder for you, but none of that is a strong enough determinant for you not to make the change, for you not to set the boundaries, for you not to let go of the codependency and invest into a more autonomous way of living that supports what you want. And I've learned over time, and I'm going to be done with this statement, that the quicker that you make those changes and the quicker that you go ahead and say, hey, this is the end of an old era, I'm stepping into the new, then everything that is validation to that change and everything that comes to validate that change, it just lines up. It just lines up perfectly. It's God's way of saying, this is right, this is for you, and you may face some challenges, but that doesn't mean stop, because this is new to you. And yes, you're not going to know some things, but the things that you don't know, just educate yourself. Because again, once you educate yourself, just like I said, once you take that step and you do what you feel like is right, then education and correct direction is a blessing that is often overlooked, and people fear because they don't want to be on that path alone. But loneliness is not forever, and loneliness is not a long-term thing if you continue to stay on the path that supports what you believe for your life. If you're doing things that go against what you believe in life, then I feel like loneliness is inevitable. But if you get invested in what you see for yourself, then you're going to meet so many other people, and you're going to have so many opportunities that just skyrocket you into the next opportunity and open up your mind to be able to believe that all of the good things that you want for your life is possible, even if it wasn't set, or even if there was not an example for you to base your decisions on going forward. So this was therapeutic for me. I got to get back to, what I had going on prior to this, but I hope it helps. And more than it helping anybody else, I hope that it continues to help me.